Tell me a little bit about your life when you left the service.
When I got back to Fairmont, of course I was 21, and I thought about going to college. While I was going to high school, we didn't have counselors coming counseling you about what you're going to do after you graduate from high school, like they do now. So nobody's ever even mentioned college. So most of the people in the farming communities, they usually went to work on the farm or took over the farm from their folks. So I got into the masonry business with my uncle. He was a plasterer, and then we poured concrete. And then he kept drinking all the money away, so I went on my own. And I started building block basements and fireplaces, and then one day my father was a commercial fisherman. He fished under the ice in the lakes in southern Minnesota with big long nets, and we made what they call a pole. Take in maybe 20, 30 acres of the lake, and we got about 85,000 pounds of fish. Sounds like a fish story, but it was carp and buffalo, and we dipped fish for 3 days. He made $10,000. This would be 1947 or 48, and he sold his fish to a fish buyer down in Spirit Lake, Iowa, Harry Stoller, and somehow he got acquainted with a dentist. I forgot what his name was. He had a mink farm, and he sold 100 mink to my dad. And here comes my dad with a big 1.5-ton truck loaded down with pens, wire pens, 100 of them, and 100 mink. He says to my brother Willard and I, I bought you some mink. Well, I didn't know anything about raising mink. And so we were stuck with it. So anyway, we worked with those for a couple of years and never made any money. One year, they breed in March when it's cold, and it's pretty cold in Minnesota. So we're out there trying to take care of that process. And we fed them some mink food called Carno, which is made from capons and caponette chickens. And it made all the mink sterile. So
Is that what you wanted?
no.
Oh dear.
Sterile meant they didn't
Yes.
have any, call them,
No, I understand.
and no young
mink.
And so I guess that's when I worked with them for 2 years for nothing. And it's a lot of hard work. One day I told my folks, I said, I'm going to go to California. I'm going to go to Hollywood. It's the only town I knew of. So I got in my 37 Ford and a couple $100 and went to, lived out in Glendale, California. And I met my wife, Louise, there. And so I lived there for 18 years.
And your children were born there?
Yes, they all 4 were born there in Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital in Hollywood. I call it Hollywood, but they said actually Los Angeles. And I worked with my dad-in-law for a short period of time. He built trailers, master-built trailers. He built a trailer for Elvis Presley, and he built a trailer for the movie The Long, Long Trailer. He built that trailer, and I helped him build rest room trailers for Lake Mead. They would follow the water line, and so I learned quite a bit about building trailers.
So you became a builder, so to speak.
Yeah, and then I went into the masonry business. So I built a lot of block walls and dozens and dozens of fireplaces and block houses. And so it's interesting work.
Oh,
I
I can
enjoyed
imagine.
it.
I can imagine.
So
Do you miss it?
yes, I like to work.
I'm sure.
I would still be out there working, I suppose. We eventually ended up down in Roseburg, Oregon. And I bought 12 acres out in the country. I didn't realize I was 87. I bought 12 acres and lived there for 12 years. Yeah, 12 years. And we improved the place, and we had a lot of turkeys out there, a lot of deer. We lived by the Umpqua River, which is a pretty good sized river.
How long have you been here in Whispering Winds?
Well, I've been in Whispering Wind a year and a half, and then I was at Stone Lodge, which is about a mile away, for a year and a half. So I've been here a little over 3 years.
How do you and your wife like this place?
How do we like it?
Yeah, how do you like living here?
Whispering Wind is probably one of the better ones in Bend, and the main feature here is, well, eating. Food is the main thing. Food and sleep, that's all you do. They have a menu, so it's just like 3-star restaurant. You can order. We have several different steaks on the menu, salmon, and you can get spaghetti and meatballs and pork chops.
I think it's fairly well known.
Everything,
I've
almost
heard about
anything you want.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And the food is, they change chefs once in a while for different reasons. But one of the confusing part is you don't know what you're eating by the name. The chef puts on these strange names, so you'll have to ask somebody, what is it? So we have a little trouble that way, but
It certainly is very beautiful here. I find it, and I find the residents extremely friendly.
yes, the people here are, well, they're all retired, of course, and they're here for, because their sons or their daughters or somebody brought them here. Their mom, you need to go here and retire and get out of the house, doing all that housework and
That's right.
mowing the lawns and so forth. So it's a good place to reside.
Well, good.
And it's a very attractive place here.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I'm glad you both are
Quite
here.
nice.
All right. Thank you very much again.